Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. I am in the state of Rhode Island at a store called Time Capsule. And Time Capsule is basically a comic book warehouse, and every weekend for the last month, they've been selling comic books at $1 a piece. I've been busy. I have not been able to make it down here any of those weekends. This is the last weekend they're doing it, but I picked a good one to finally show up because not only is everything still $1, you can fill a long box for $100. So I'm pretty sure it's picked through, but I guarantee I can find some pretty good comic books in there. I don't need another long box sitting on my floor in my basement. I don't need to get a full long box, but hey, if I get close to 100 books, I would be behooved to fill the whole thing. So I can't wait to see what's actually in there. You see there's a line already lined up at the door waiting for them to open, so come along for the ride, guys. I'm really excited for this sale. All right, of course, I'm here with Rich of Philobox Comics. Now, you've been to this sale.
I have.
Recently. What should I expect?
You should don't expect keys.
Okay.
Do not expect keys. Probably a lot of the Bronze Age has been cleared out. They've had this sale, I think this is the 5th week in a row. Mm-hmm. They had been filling the boxes. Pun intended, refilling their stock. They stopped doing that. There's, I guess, 475 long boxes in there. So
wow. Okay.
I think you're going to find a lot of cool stuff like 90s Batman, a lot of runs of stuff that's not key, but if you're looking filler, a lot of filler stuff.
Yeah.
If you need filler issues, this is a place to do it. I need 17 issues of Spectacular Spider-Man, no keys.
Ooh.
Hoping to knock it out today.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that.
And thanks for the shirt.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you look good in it. All right. Time to go in. Got my long box. It's a cool old building, though, huh? Building smells old. There we go. Time Capsule Auction Company. How's it going? Wow, look at this. Wow, I don't know where to start. So I'm going to go to a voiceover for a lot of this video simply because there was some great music playing the whole time. Great 70s and 80s music. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Unfortunately, it is copyrighted and I can't have it in the video. So instead, I'm going to give you a sort of voiceover explaining what I'm looking at, what I was thinking as I went through these boxes. As you can see, this place was massive. I think Rich said there were over 450 long boxes at least. I decided to start in this back corner simply because it was far away from the door. And, as you can see in the morning here, there wasn't a lot of people right away. I was there early, but as you're going to see, as the morning went on, this place filled up really, really quickly. And I think I got my hopes up with this first box here because I found some older books. Hey, I'm finding some stuff from the 70s and the 80s. And this is my favorite era of comic books. Look, I even found a Silver Age book pretty much right away. Not in great shape, but hey, if these are the types of books that are in these boxes, I'm thinking I'm gonna have a great morning. Well, as you can see, this was definitely the exception to the rule rather than the rule. Some early Deathlock and Astonishing Tales there, some more DC stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking, hey, this is going to be a great, great, great sale. But as you can see, most of the stuff in here was not only more modern, but definitely some sort of off-brand comic books, right? Again, some more DC stuff from the 80s. Not bad stuff to have, especially, if you're filling in a run. The problem is, as you're going to see, you'll get like 2 or 3 of one book and then it quickly changes not only title, but publisher. There were some Spider-Man books in there. They were very few and far between. I'm guessing they were heavily picked through over the previous weeks. But I did find some Spider-Man, and whenever I did, I grabbed as many or as few as you're going to see as I possibly could.
There it is. I hit the gold mine.
All Turok?
All Turok Dinosaur #1. All mine. No.
Save some for the rest of us. Yeah, Rich joking around with the Turok #1s. Those are the types of books we found in these boxes, in spades. Lots of stuff from the 90s, very overproduced. There were millions of them, and we would always joke when we found, a very common title like that. But yeah, this is the other stuff we found in these boxes a lot. Again, very off-brand, indie published stuff, very different things. I never heard of the titles, let alone some of the publishers, extremely small publishing companies. But as I'm going through these, I wasn't just keeping my own collecting habits in mind. Also, those of my friends. I have friends who are into some definitely different things. And, at this point, I didn't think I was going to fill an entire long box. I was just trying to see how close I'd get after, say, an hour. So I was grabbing anything that looked interesting, not only to me, but any of my friends who collect. And I figured I'd take stock of what I had in the box. after a little while. But you see how random it is, right? Yeah, Murkoshov is number 1. We immediately pivot to a Green Arrow, and then we go to an off-brand publisher here, title I've never heard of. This would be typical of the whole day, pretty much off and on. Still fun to look at a lot of these, titles and covers because not always familiar with them. And, when you see a really cool cover like this, a Halloween cover, I think I ended up grabbing this one. I just thought it was really neat. And then, hey, look at that. You find some Uncanny X-Men, my favorite title. Of course, those end up in the box. We had both old ones and new ones like this. And a lot of the newer ones I definitely don't have in my collection. So they were worth putting aside. Moving on to the next box here, and again, I say next box, there were probably 5 boxes in between the last clip and this one. I cut so much footage out of here. I was here for 2 hours, so you can imagine how much I had to cut down on, and I didn't always have the best camera angle when I was filming. You'd find stacks of the same book like this, right? And these, I think, came right from a comic book shop back in the day. I just took one of the better copies. They were all in pretty good shape, to be honest, and put the rest back for others to find. Like I said, Amazing Spider-Man. Everyone loves Amazing Spider-Man, so I kept them in the boxes. Here you see a lot of Batman, and I actually feel kind of bad. I wanted to go back and find some more Batman at the end to fill my box, and I just kind of forgot, especially taking stock of what I picked up at the end. Yeah, definitely a shortage of Batman in there. Here we go. We find some interesting stuff. We find some Anne Rice's The Mummy. And yeah, I don't know how many parts this had, but I found several copies of different books. So I just started grabbing them whenever I could. I think I put a set of 4 together, and not in the best shape, but hey, it looked cool. It's Halloween coming up. It seemed thematic and worth picking up. All right, getting into this box here, I find again some older DC. You get excited, and then it goes back to sort of the same old Amazing Spider-Girl. Here's another DC book coming up right here, though, that was a little bit older. Yeah, DC Comics Presents Annual number 2. Hey, worth picking up. Like I say, I don't pick up enough DC in general. That went in the box. So here I am grabbing another stack to help you guys sort of see what exactly was in here. Hey, we got a good run of Thunderbolts. Not a title I collect. We get some more X books. Tons of those X books from the 90s. Every single spinoff. A lot of them like X-Men I'm not really into. And we go back into some Image books here. And then into Superman. I did pick up some Superman throughout the day. Not a ton, but as you're going to see later, I think some pretty good ones. And again, back to the Batman. I did look at these actually pretty closely. There were some neat ones in here, like this. Great Hugo Strange cover. That went in the box. Yeah, Hugo Strange, I think, is a really cool Batman villain. And I think that's sort of like an iconic image of him. Like, if you ever look up Hugo Strange, that cover is like what you see. So there were a lot of free comic book day comics in these boxes. Yeah, there's another one. And I try not to pick these up. For one thing, I probably already have them. And even if I didn't, I'm not going to pay for a comic. That was free at one point, right? In the back of this box here, I found some good stuff. I found some more X-Men. Of course, again, that's my favorite title. Sorry I talk about it so much. I added a lot of those to the box. But I also found some Silver Surfer. My son has a pretty good run of the late 80s, early 90s Silver Surfer, so I grabbed some of these to add to his run. I even found some more modern Silver Surfer just because it's a cool cover. And Silver Surfer is really cool. Back to the Uncanny X-Men. Most of these Uncannies were after Chris Claremont. But those later issues, those are the ones I actually need to add my run. Here we go. This is an interesting book I found. This is all about rubber. Yeah, I don't even know when this book is from, but definitely odd and interesting. We'll talk more about it later on. Yeah, and here I am kind of moving off to the side. I had a hard time actually filming these comic boxes. My body would be blocking the light, or the camera angle on the hands-free wasn't very good. That's one of the reasons, again, I also cut a ton of the footage. There was just too much of it, and you couldn't see it. But you see in here, I found some cool stuff. I found some early 80s Iron Fist and Power Man. I found some more X-Men books. Yeah, there's some more X-Men. I know everyone's tired of hearing me talk about them, but they're my favorite. They're my favorite. Sweet Tooth. Yeah, this is a series I know people really like. And I know there's a TV show, I think, based on it. I haven't seen it, but let me know down in the comments if I should get into it. Alpha Flight, another title that I like, sort of X-Men adjacent. So yeah, then you pick up your box, you move over to another aisle, and you start digging. And this new aisle in this new box here, there's pay dirt immediately. I found some Captain America from the 80s. I have a pretty good Captain America run. Not sure which one of these I need, but hey, they all end up going in the box. And once again, you see you get like 2 at a time, and then some other titles mixed in. And then some random stuff. You see this one here, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. I just love the title and the cover. That goes in the box. Irresistible, guys, when you see something that weird. Here we have some, some more Spider-Man. Really, they're just completely randomly tossed in there. And then I found a stack of John Byrne's Next Men. Actually, before we talk about those, here's another one of those weird comics. I believe this is Blackstone Publishing, this Pajama Chronicles. Blackstone put out some really interesting things and actually some pretty cool books too. But that one just looks so odd. Had to go in the box. All right, back to the Next Men. I think a lot of people know that there's some early Hellboy appearances in these Next Men books, and they could be quite valuable. I didn't get my hopes up here at all. Not only would these have been picked through in the previous, month, I'm pretty sure that the comic store would not have left those in there, but still, it's a pretty cool title. I have some people who swear by how good John Byrne's Next Men is. I'm a big John Byrne fan, and this has been suggested to me many times, but I've never read it. And honestly, now that I'm looking at this is sort of a missed opportunity. You can get pretty far into a completed run by grabbing a stack like this. Alas, I did not, but let me know down in the comments if you're into Next Men and if I should get into them as well. So here you see we're about an hour into the sale, and this place is really filled up, and it actually continued to fill up even beyond this point. But I decided to move over to this corner. The lighting was better, and it was far enough away from the music that I think I can stop the voiceover for a little bit and give you the sounds of the actual sale itself.
Finding good stuff? So far. Yeah, you did say you were going to show up for this. Yep, they don't do sales at my store, then you can buy everything. Yeah, because how you guys doing? Good, you? Another day in paradise, my friend. As I always like to say, every day above ground is a good day.
Well, can't argue with that. So.
Did you go to that Boston or that New Hampshire show? When? The one that was...
The Comic Bash?
Yeah.
One of the stores, so...
Yeah, I know you had a sale last week when you were gone. It was similar to what I thought.
This is a gift for Rich, from Rich? You're keeping this?
Why not? Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Thank you.
Bye.
You get a whole bunch from over there, I see, huh? Yeah.
Make sure there's no DC Universe.
Wasn't someone looking for Buffy? Who collects Buffy?
There's a ton of Buffy over
It's a whole box of Buffy here.
Yeah, I know.
An angel.
I want to bring this up.
I have about 10 of those.
Reserve space.
Nice. I always got to get one of those.
Oh, look at this. This is the stuff I'm interested in. It's weird stuff. Oh, cool.
Remember, if you're filling a box, there's only a bag in the morning, just a bag.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. All right, so finally taking stock of what I have. I think I'm over the 100 books already, so I might as well fill the whole box. Why not? This was a decision that I might have later grown to regret. We'll talk more about that later. But here I am moving over to the very first row, right in front of the door. I assume these were very thoroughly picked through, but I was very surprised and happy to find one of my favorite runs. This is Justice League Dark. I've talked about it on my channel before. I really like these darker DC characters, and I've read a lot of this first series, part of the New 52, up through issue 20, but I didn't have a lot of the ones past that. So hey, that's the best case scenario, right? You find a title that you've been reading, and then you can add it to the run that you've been working through. Really cool. But then you go to another box, and once again, back to the weird indie stuff. I like the weird indie stuff, so I grabbed a couple of them. This was a good box. This actually had a lot of 80s and 90s books I was interested in. Some Fantastic Four, another run that I'm pretty good at chipping away at. Some Thor as well. A lot of the Avengers characters, when I could find them, Iron Man, Cap, I'd pick them up as well. Yeah, some more Fantastic Four, some Puppet Master, and some more X-Men. So, of course, these all go into the box. Something I came across going through these boxes were packages of books that seemed to have been sealed, or at least partially sealed, since they were first delivered to a local comic shop, 30 plus years ago. And these were cool to find, especially in a case like this where they're X-Men books. And yeah, what I would do when I found these is I just reach into the center where presumably the best condition book was, and then put the rest back for the next person to find. And it's just cool to think that, these really haven't been messed with since they were originally shipped to an LCS so long ago. Here's some more Alpha Flight books. I wasn't sure which ones I already had. So I just basically grabbed this whole stack along with a few Thor books I knew I didn't have, and into the box they went. Here are some of the best things I found on the day, or at least the most interesting ones. I always say, guys, if you see something you've never seen before, and it's cheap, pick it up because it might be something special. And these were unique enough that I had to have them. I'll talk more about them at the end, but I'd never seen anything like this. They seem to be attached to a newspaper. So yeah, had to throw them in the box. And here you see right before I'm about to leave, the place is pretty packed. You know, I'm not going to say it was shoulder to shoulder, but you definitely had to wait your turn to get to check out some of these boxes. So going through this one here again, guys, back to the weird stuff. A lot of DNA agents. This is by Eclipse. I think a lot of people know there's a famous cover by Dave Stevens. Wasn't in there, but I did find some cool Superman, including Superman 700. And this might be one of the better finds of the day. This is Power Rangers #1. I got excited for a second, and then you see it had some damage, but still, I think it's a pretty good find. And then, yeah, alternating Marvel and DC with strange stuff. I wasn't sure what it was. Hey, we get some adjectiveless X-Men. We get some Moon Knight. I think I passed on this Moon Knight. Did I? I did. Well, I was tired. That's my excuse. When you're tired, you're going to miss some stuff, even titles you really like. This is the last box I looked at, and I definitely ended on a strong note because I found a stack of Avengers from the 80s. Another title I really like. I have a good run of them, and there's a lot of books in here I actually didn't have, so a great way to end the sale. Some other stuff I didn't have a chance to look at. They had boxes of magazines. I'm sure they're cool, but ran out of time. Same with the trades and hardcovers. Great deals in here. Just didn't have time to look at them. I had a little bit of room left in my box at the end, and this is how I filled it.
What better way to end the show than with one of the greatest first issues of all time?
There you go. Wow.
Red Star #1 by Jim Starlin. Do you love Jim Starlin?
I have a little bit of room left, so I'm going to do the same. I'll grab a few more copies. So. All right, guys, there's a whole long box of comics I almost certainly do not need, and I have no idea what's in there. They just went in exactly how I found them, completely random. So I'm going to go home, sort through them, and see exactly what I got. And then I'll show you guys everything laid out on my dining room table at what I got at this amazing, maybe, $1 comic book sale. Rich is shaking his head no, not worth it. We'll find out in a few minutes.
Not for us for the distance.
So there you go, guys. That was the time capsule in West Warwick, Rhode Island. And here is my entire haul laid out on my dining room table. I did, in fact, fill that long box, $100, and I got just shy of 300 comic books, 292 to be precise. And honestly, guys, I had more room left in that box, but I was tired. I was there for over 2 hours, and I was filming the whole time. So as you can imagine, I had a lot of footage to weed through. I just tried showing off footage I thought was, indicative of the type of books that were in those boxes. So we'll talk a lot more about what I thought of the sale and what I think about my haul, but let's first talk about what I actually picked up. Let's start with the Marvel books and my favorite title, the X-Men, of course. I have a stack of Uncanny X-Men here. Some of these are, Chris Claremont. Most of them are later, first full Bishop here. And I do have a lot of these ones, under 300, of course. But I got a lot of run fillers in the high 300s into the 400s, which are books I don't quite have in my run yet. So I got a lot of great run fillers here. I'm pretty happy to pick up, and even some old annuals too. So yeah, big stack of Uncanny. Happy to find those. Here's Adjectiveless X-Men, the Jim Lee X-Men. A lot of great books in here. These are fun. I remember a lot of these, buying them off the shelf, right? Again, I have some later ones I don't yet have in my run. These are great. We even have some modern X-Men comics here. You saw in the footage there was a lot of stuff from the last couple of years. So we have some of the Hickman era or the Krakoa era of X-Men comics. And this is a very cool Nightcrawler variant I've never seen before. Yeah, we got the Fall House of X, we got the Rise of X. We have this great X-Men blue cover of Polaris. And of course, this is, homaging, Jim Steranko's Polaris. This is actually done by Art Adams. Great cover right there. We have Uncanny X-Men number 600. And yeah, you get the idea. Some modern ones in there. Happy to add those to my collection. We also have some other X-Men related books. Of course, we have a little pile of Wolverine here. Always fun to pick up. These are great. These are all other assorted titles. We have Exiles, this great cover of Nightcrawler with Nocturne. Some X-Force, some early Dupe right there. But I think my favorite one here is this one. This is an Excalibur special edition. They made several of these sort of one-shots, but what's really cool about this one is similar to the X-Men Heroes for Hope book I always talk about. And in that book, every page or two, the writer and the artist changes. In this one, there are actually several chapters, and each chapter is done by a different team. So, for instance, chapter 1 is Ron Lim. Right, so we get some Ron Lim art, and then chapter 2 goes to Brian Stelfreeze. And I love these books because it's great for new collectors to see like different artistic styles and compare and contrast. And I love Excalibur because, my boys right there. So very cool. And of course we have Alpha Flight. This is another run that I'm trying to finish. I have a lot of these, but yeah, a couple of look at that. We double-sided Alpha Flight number 2. So a couple of those. Very neat. All right, Spider-Man. Yeah, there was some Spider-Man to be found there. Not a ton, but I was trying to gobble it up when I could. We get some Amazing Spider-Man. Again, I had 2 for the price of 1, I guess. We have, there was a ton of these copies. I only took 1. Some Amazing, 1 Spectacular, 1 Web, a whole bunch of adjectiveless Spider-Man, McFarlane run, even some modern ones that I thought were pretty cool. Spectacular Spider-Man 1. Learning to Crawl, just a cool cover right there. Yeah, stuff I've never seen before. And Red Goblin number 1, a couple of those, and I haven't checked those out yet. I wanted to read them. Daredevil, not a lot of Daredevil. Love Daredevil, just not enough there. We get some Marvel Knights, just a great cover right there. 1 older one. Avengers. Yeah, I was really happy to find Avengers. These are pretty much all from the 80s, and I got a pretty good Avengers run going, and a lot of these I do not have. There's actually a pretty cool one in here. This one here, number 292, is famous because it shows the Council of Kangs. Those of you that saw Quantumania, that last scene, yeah, that's where it comes from right there. So, the Avengers books are really neat. I even got some modern ones down the bottom. That's cool. Spider-Man as the Beyonder. So, these are fun. Avengers type characters, a whole bunch of Captain America from the 80s. These are great. Again, have a pretty good run of those. We get some Iron Man, always fun. Some of these are Armor Wars, during that storyline. So these are great. There you go. Going up against Stingray. Awesome. We have the Mighty Thor, of course. I have a lot of these too. These are actually kind of after a lot of the run I already have. Those are fun, and only a little bit of Hulk. Looking for more. Couldn't find them. I did find a pretty cool series of She-Hulk. These are basically graphic novels, part 1 and part 2, called Ceremony. I see these all the time. It's like one big graphic novel split into 2 parts. And they're in nice shape. Happy to pick those up. Down here we got some Fantastic Four, another run that I'm always working on. These are great. Some great covers in here as well. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. We got the new Fantastic Four right there. Remember them fondly from when I was a kid. Another Art Adams cover. We got our Cosmic Beings in here. We got some Silver Surfer. Yeah, really neat. We got some Nova. We got some Guardians of the Galaxy. Runaways number 1. America Chavez number 1. We have some older ones. I did find some older Marvel ones. I did better with the older DC, but Marvel 2-in-1, number 25. We get some Power Man and Iron Fist. Some random New Warriors and Night Stalkers still in the package. 2099 series. I love these as a kid. We get some Punisher 2099 number 1, some Ravage 29 number 1s. Everyone sees these all the time, but I have a buddy in Australia who I'm shipping these to. Martin, don't worry, I'll get them to you at some point. X-Men 2099, and a couple I've never seen before. This is a more modern Spider-Man 2099 Exodus number 1, and this is Winter Soldier 2099. Cool, and I love the fact they did the little simulated foil there. Fantastic Four 2099 number 1. There's a lot of numbers in that mouthful there. And then this is assorted, and there's some pretty cool ones in here. This one would be a great find. This Power Rangers number 1, except, yeah, you see it's split right there. Otherwise, that's a pretty cool find. We get some these are like parody issues. These are fun. Generic comic book. These are just literally a generic comic book Marvel did. Kind of funny. Just random stuff. This is interesting. It's like a storybook featuring the X-Men, and it has a poster. So when you haven't seen it before, guys, grab it. All right, let's go over to the DC side. I did find some older books, as I mentioned. We have some Justice League 208. This is a great cover. It's an atomic bomb cover by George Perez. You get all these floating heads right here. Great cover. A great find. All-Star Comics Super Squad. An annual DC Comics Presents with Superwoman. And this would be the best book of the whole thing. This is Adventure Comics number 317. We have a Silver Age comic in there, guys. And it's the first appearance of Dream Girl. The problem is, it's missing a piece and some water stain. But hey, I can't be picky, guys. I'm pretty happy to have found this at all. We got some Superman Confidential. I've talked about this on my channel in the past. Superman 700. I get a variant of this. It's just a great cover anyways. Batman. I wish I grabbed more Batman. I really do. Kind of disappointed. Azrael. We get some awesome Hugo Strange right there. And Penguin Triumphant. This is a one-shot from the early 90s by John Ostrander. And I think some of the Penguin TV series that was so good is based at least partly on this. So wanted to check it out. Happy about this, guys. I've mentioned many times in the past, I love Justice League Dark, and I found a ton of them. This is the first volume. There's issue number 2, and then it goes up into the teens. I have up through issue 20, but then after this, I don't have any of these, and I haven't read them, guys. Look at all through the 20s, up into the 30s. pretty good run right there. I even found volume 2, issue number 1, when you add Wonder Woman and Man-Bat and Detective Chimp. So really, really cool. Happy to find these. Here we go. Madame Xanadu, number 1. This is part of the Vertigo imprint, and she was a huge part of Justice League Dark. Put the team together. Grabbed a couple of those. Random DC stuff. We have Hardware, number 1, guys. This is pretty cool. This is a Milestone imprint. Awesome character from the 90s. Captain Carrot, number 1. My buddy Rich found this one for me. I don't know where I grabbed this one. Just some random stuff, random Justice League. Bernie Wrightson book. These are very cool, full of Bernie Wrightson stories and art. Other random DC stuff. I don't even remember grabbing half this stuff, guys. This is 52 week 1. And the difference here is that this is a convention exclusive. I've never seen this before, so I don't know what's up with that. I'm a sucker for a good lenticular cover. Grabbed a couple of those. We got some Alan Moore Swamp Thing. We got a great Black Manta and a very cool DC's to cover. So I just thought those were cool. Some of them I remember grabbing, others they just ended up there. I was trying to grab kind of like graphic novels. You know, there was a graphic novel section in trade paperbacks, but some of these are like one-shots. And if I found them, I'd pick them up. This is a cool Hawkman one. I like Hawkman. Want to check it out. Now we're into the indie stuff. And as you saw, most of the store was indie stuff, I feel like. Tons of stuff I've never seen before. If it looked interesting, I grabbed it. I saw this We Run. Looks like it's written by Chip Zdarsky. So yeah, don't know what this is. Thought I'd check it out. Paladin of Axis, no clue. Chroma number 1, no clue. No clue, but I want to check them out, guys. I love this sort of stuff. First 4 issues of Anne Rice's The Mummy. Most of these are actually in pretty good shape, except for the first issue. I wish I got a better copy, but they're interesting. They're cool. Halloween's coming up. Grab some magazines here. We have a Wolverine Wizard tribute. That's pretty neat. Hero Special Edition. I mentioned Hero recently on my channel. In fact, they put out those like ashcan size books. Yeah, this is the original, Hero magazine. So thought that was kind of neat to pick up. We have Malibu Sun announcing the Ultraverse. Ooh, more about the Ultraverse in a second. I divvied up all the other indie stuff into certain piles. This is like my definite favorite keeper pile. And this is made up of stuff that, I have heard of and stuff I have no idea. It just looked interesting. We have Paul the Samurai number 1. This is a Tick character put out by New England Comics. I love this stuff because of the local connection. We got Mandrake, the Magician, and Annual. Random stuff. Twisted Tales of Bruce Jones, Cadillac and Dinosaurs. I love the title and the cover. The Pajama Chronicles. No clue. No idea. Preteen Dirty Jean. Kung Fu Kangaroos. This is one of those animal knockoffs of TMNT parodies. Occupational Hazards. These are, underground indie stuff, guys. Just random stuff that I just was happy to find and made me laugh. Happy to pick up those. All right, here we have some Valiant. We have Bloodshot number 1. Again, any of you 90s kids remember these Valiant comics. Here we go. Bloodshot number 6 is actually the first appearance of Ninjak. So Rich found this for me. Ninjak was a big Valiant character. I thought he was pretty cool. Everyone has a million of that first issue, but that's actually his first appearance in this one. Rich also gave me some Ultraverse comics. We have the Sludge number 1, never read it. And this one here, number 3, is the first appearance of, Lord Pumpkin, King Pumpkin. I don't remember, Rich. I wasn't a big Ultraverse fan except for Freaks. That was the only thing I liked because it was like, well, the X-Men. We have Zen Intergalactic Ninja number 0. We get a Savage Dragon number 1. Before I get to the rest of these, I did get a stack of stuff from my buddy Ben. My friend Ben was going to go with me to this, but he's had some family things come up and couldn't make it down there. And I know what he likes, so I grabbed him a nice stack of comics. Ben, looking out for you. Planet Comics, the famous Planet Comics is the one with Dave Stevens. It's not this one, but here's one that homages that famous cover. Some other stuff I thought Ben would like. You got some samurai black and white comics here. Random stuff. He loves noir. This was very noir looking. So just random stuff I thought Ben would enjoy. He likes bikes. He likes girls. He likes noir. He likes old fashioned stuff. I think I pretty much covered all the bases there, Ben. So now we come to what I think is my favorite pile that I got in the day. Check this one out. This is the Wonder Book of Rubber. It's a comic book all about rubber. Yeah, that's it. I don't even know when it's from. I couldn't find a year. I'm guessing it's from the 60s. And yeah, it talks about the history of rubber. I love stuff like this. And what's really weird is as soon as I picked this up, I felt like I had to leave. Specifically, I felt like I had to bounce. I'm so sorry. All right, my favorite comics I picked up on the day, if you can call them that, are these. So there are 3 of these, and you see by the title they are the Middlesex News or South Middlesex News comic book. Now, Middlesex County is a county here in Massachusetts, and what I think these were is that they came out of this, newspaper. Either they came from the newspaper or you subscribe to it separately, and what they are is from the late 1970s, and they're a collection of all of the comic strips that presumably were in those newspapers. And what's really cool about these is there is, you know, some mainstream comic connections in here, like Spider-Man. Everyone knows that was a very long, ongoing comic strip in all newspapers. So yeah, they're in them. And as a matter of fact, he's even on the cover of one. There's another one in here that's the Incredible Hulk. These are just really cool, guys. Not just for the, you know, comic connection, but the fact they're local. They're local, they're interesting, they're unusual, and this is the stuff I love to find. Yeah, and there are 3 of them. So yeah, one of the coolest things I think I found on the day. Not something I'd ever expect to pick up, but happy to add these to my collection. Let me know down in the comments if you know anything more about these or if you've seen them in other parts of the country. I'd love to hear if you have any more knowledge on those. Which brings me to the last pile. This is Dreadstar #1. I've talked about this on my channel in the past. I'm a big Jim Starlin fan. This is when he went over to Epic Comics, which is still part of Marvel Comics, honestly. Came up with his own new character, Dreadstar. I picked one of these up. My buddy Rich found there's a whole handful of them. And when I was leaving and had some room left, you know, he grabbed a stack and I grabbed some too. I want Jim Starlin to sign one of these, so I'm going to look for a nice high-grade copy within here. But otherwise, I'm going to give the rest of these away. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So what am I going to do with all of these? Well, I'm going to keep about half of them. I'd say about 150 are going into my runs, into my collection, stuff that I think is cool and I like. Certainly, probably not going to hold on to all of these. Like I said, guys, I do not need another long box of cheap comics in my basement. So a lot of these I'm going to give away. There's a kid actually local who has a comic club at his high school. I wish I had a comic club in high school, but yeah, he reached out to me looking for some books. You know, I was kind of collaborating with some local comic shops. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm going to donate and give away. Some of the stuff I'm going to give to my kids as well. But I think now is worth talking about what is in here, right? Because this is $100, $107 with tax. And do I think I got the value? Well, listen, if we're talking about like experience, hey, I had a great time. I was there for over 2 hours with some other fellow friends and collectors. We had a great time, therapeutic to go through these boxes. It's fun, it's worth it. But value-wise, yeah, listen guys, if you added up the value of all these, yeah, maybe you're probably there. But for me, where I go to a lot of comic sales like this, like often, yeah, I really wish I went at the beginning of when they started doing this. You know, here I was 5-6 weekends in of the sale, and as I thought, everything was pretty well picked through. A lot of the runs were broken up. Everything was, you know, messed up and disorganized. It was very difficult, and I think I would love to go back to the show in the future, but if I did, I would certainly go on one of the first couple of weeks. No doubt about it. So at the end here, yeah, it's $100 long box. I know those of you that don't go to sales a lot, you're probably, you know, licking your chops. You think that's a great deal, but for me, I don't need a lot of these books is the truth of the matter. And I think I'd rather have more quality and less quantity the next time. But hey, don't take my word for it, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the sale. Let me know if you saw anything in the footage that you would have picked up. And remember, there was, you know, 2 hours more footage you didn't see. And let me know what you think of what I got. And would you have paid $107 for the same amount? I would love to hear from you. So there you go, guys. In the meantime, keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places like gigantic comic sales in old factory buildings in Rhode Island. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.